In October 2020, 7 months into the COVID pandemic, New York Times columnist and St. Louis Park native Thomas Friedman shared with leaders from across rural Minnesota gathered over Zoom for Blandin's 16th annual statewide broadband conference his secret recipe for inclusive community vitality: complex adaptive coalitions.
So all of this, I'm still at 30,000 feet, is to say that we're basically going through a gigantic climate change, okay, in how we work, how we learn, how we live, how we transport, how we educate. We're going through a giant climate change. We're in the third great Promethean moment. And the one thing that is common to every answer for how to deal with this giant climate change is that it can only be governed, not in the old binary way, left, right. It can only be governed by ecosystems, what I call complex adaptive coalitions. Complex adaptive coalitions. Where did I come up with that? That's actually a term from the natural world. Which ecosystems in nature thrive when the climate changes? Those that have complex adaptive networks, where the different parts of the ecosystem all network together to maximize their resilience and propulsion. Well, my argument is in this third great Promethean moment, when the world's getting fast, fused, deep, and open, it is so complex now that it mirrors, there's only one thing in your life experience that it mirrors, and that's the natural world. So if you want to understand how to govern today's modern society, study nature. Study what Mother Nature does, because she has all the answers of how to manage a super complex system. And the way she does it is with complex adaptive coalitions.
Here, rural leaders describe how, through partnership with Blandin, they have built leadership teams, or complex adaptive coalitions, that have brought broadband-fueled opportunity to their communities.
What this project and these projects, this Blandin grant has given us is an opportunity to move and to do big, cool things for our community despite all the noise and all the nonsense that's happening outside of our doors. We've been able to move forward. We've been able to be unstuck in a very stuck time. You gave us the WD-40 that we needed this last year.
We met last week, and this is super exciting. We met with Leslie and Terry from Pine County. They came over to Mille Lacs Corporate Ventures, and we spent about 4 hours together just talking about what we do at Mille Lacs Corporate Ventures, and we took a driving tour and had lunch, and it was great. I mean, we've seen each other on this webcam for weeks, but to physically be in a space together and start more collaborations and understandings of our stories and where we're going was sure fun. And I look forward to doing that with the other counties and again with Pine County. So that's really cool. And without this program, we probably wouldn't have never, or less likely to have done that. So very cool.
We did our county board presentation on the 6th, and most of our team members were there in person, a couple on the phone. What was shocking was the commissioner, who I guess I would go as far as saying anti-broadband at the beginning of this. He was the one who made the two motions to move forward. So they unanimously allowed us to apply for the feasibility study grant. Afterwards, like, the team was hugging and high-fiving, and it was crazy. I think we've turned the corner, and I think our attitude here across the board is positive now. So that's the biggest thing. And thank you, Blandin, and everybody for everything, because it's really been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of all this.
And then the collaboration piece. So I've had the opportunity to be part of the Blandon Broadband Communities projects. We have 2 communities in our region that are part of those efforts, and that is to improve access for broadband to communities that have low broadband throughout the community. So just to give a success story out of this, so if you guys remember when they had the community block grants, the COVID CARES funds, there was a grant that was open for about a month. And because there was a group that was part of this collaboration, they were able to pull together and quickly apply for those broadband grant funds. I know a lot of us were trying to scramble around figuring out how we can access those funds. There was plenty of opportunities, but it was a short time frame. So I think that's the great thing about being able to come together, all these different leaders, and the energy, the passion for people to make improvements.
I'm Liz Dean. I'm the Executive Director of Strategy and Business Development here at Riverwood. I'd just like to start by doing a huge shout out to Blandon. As a leader here at Riverwood, I'm personally a Community Blandon Leadership graduate. So thank you, Blandon, for continuing to offer that program. And we're also a recipient of a couple of grants through Blandon in the space of broadband. And as many of us learned, broadband is key to our businesses. And I would say in healthcare, we not only learned that it's key, but it's critical and necessary, especially in the time of a pandemic. So we're so grateful for the financial support that we've had from Blandon, that we've been able to stand up several digital innovations to enhance our patient experience here for our local residents.
You need that champion. You need your summary of the regional gatherings is just right on. Just almost every bullet point is things that we run into every day. And you guys as Blandon have done a great job educating, I think, the whole state on the value of broadband and bringing us all together as far as part of the solution. And so I think the biggest thing right now is just kind of education, bringing us together with the right officials and then get that champion to kind of get the whole process moving forward.
And not only have you made a difference, now here's one funny thing. That's all because of you guys too. I'm at a commerce hearing where we do a lot of the broadband work. And I, of course, have my liquor store story, all this stuff, but they kept complimenting Minnesota as one of the better states. So I know we still have problems, but I thought that was kind of cool because we've done a better job of mapping, because you guys have been so innovative in getting in rural. You should know that they, even then things are bad, they're better than they are in a lot of other places. And that also makes me feel good about when we get this huge infusion of cash, and we're going to, through this state, that we're going to do a better job getting it out and managing it and making sure it's fair. And you also have Blandon there making sure that rural Minnesotans get their fair share.